Hey folks, it's Jim. Wanted to go over a video how the political push for vaccination could be increasing risk factors and grossly negligent and incompetent. Okay. Let me open with a disclaimer. This video is not medical advice, vaccine advice, or advice of any kind. You and you alone are responsible to seek out the professional medical advice that is right for you from your doctors, physicians, clinicians, and so on that are in your life, that know you. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Sorry, I got a June bug buzzing around. So anyway, we're going to open and share one of the higher risk factors is mental illness of anxiety, PTSD, and other stress mental illnesses that possibly increase adrenaline, okay? Fear, anxiety, all of that stuff, okay? So the idea that politicians are out there pushing fear and pressuring people are creating one of the top 6 risk factors to the very virus itself. And that the evidence, now Dr. Fauci, one of the only things I will give him credit for, just came out and said that the viral load in the nasal pharynx of the vaccinated and the unvaccinated is the same when contracting the virus. So there is no clinical evidence to support that vaccination or vaccines will stop the spread of the virus. So why create stress, which increases the risk factors of the population? That's why from the beginning, I've been saying, come together, people. All of this together. And here's a neat way to look at it. If you're pro-vaccine and you've got an anti-vaxxer around you, well, hey, there's my bio-experiment to find out if I was right or not. And if you're anti-vax, you can say that to the pro-vaxxer. Hey, I'm glad you did it so I can find out the truth. You're my experiment. And on that, come together. Stay in touch. Communicate with one another. All right? So come together on that basis, that each of you are each other's experiment until science figures it all out. Okay? Mathematical, clinical, empirical data. Not emotions, politics, and BS. Okay, so now let's go back to this Governor Cuomo and this coconut in California that are stressing out their own populations, increasing the risk factors of the virus itself. Can you see the horrific leadership we have in this country? Fauci's bad enough, but these coconuts, wow. And then President Biden threatening federal employees with further stress. Increasing risk factor, number 6. Can you see where I'm going with this, folks? This is crazy, man. These people are grossly negligent and incompetent by creating division in a country when we need to come together. We need to relax so that our immune systems can operate at optimal level. This is a fact that stress can compromise the immune system. So why would you add stress to anybody in your district if you're a politician right now? You are only exacerbating risk conditions to the very thing you're trying to help. You understand? And that bodes directly to the incompetence, inability of these people to understand science. So I don't give advice, but if I were a wise person, I would not listen to anybody political on this at all, because they just don't understand. Okay? They do not even understand. By creating stress, they're creating higher risk factors. Okay, so politicians, leaders should be unifiers, and we should develop trust with them. As I've stated before, I believe Fauci has lost trust long ago, lost it from me by February of 2020, let alone now with that complete farce that's been, okay? So now, and part of the reason why I'm doing this video is so that everybody will talk about this. That when you stress out your neighbor or anybody on any level right now, you are part of the problem. Stress levels need to go down. Unification needs to come up. Understanding, acceptance, and all of that needs to be foremost right now. Okay? So that we help reduce one of the major risk factors, which is stress, anxiety, and all of those groups. Okay? So please understand that. And for those of you who didn't know that these disorders are number 6, I believe, on risk factors, which I was shocked at. Okay? Maybe they'll find some more correlative evidence with regards to adrenaline, which is where I'm going with it. And again, I didn't tell you this and tell you to, that this is fact because I just don't know. But that's one thing that I could look at due to some other data I was looking at. Okay? But there seems to be a correlation there. And it is on the risk factor list. And it's in the top 10. So why would any competent physician, politician, or anybody that cares about people add to stress or create it during this time? You, the people of this country, elect these coconuts who do not understand science, do not wait for mathematical evidence, do not understand what they're talking about, and have no clue about what to do. The only person you should be listening to is your personal physician at this time to make decisions based on your health factors and risks, who has your health record and the understanding of what those risks are for you. And relax as much as possible right now, folks. Please relax, because that is a real risk factor. That stress right now is in the top 10 of risk factors. So anybody participating in creating stress is the problem, part of the problem. And if you're so incompetent as you don't know this, please just stop speaking. You're not helping at all. And there is no clinical evidence to support that vaccines have slowed or stopped the spread of this virus. The viral load in the nasopharynx on contracting the virus is the exact same between vaccinated and unvaccinated. That comes from Dr. Fauci yesterday. First competent thing he's ever released. First real data he's ever released in a reasonable amount of time. Okay? So, anyway, relax. Relax. And the things they should be talking about are this. Folks, cut down on your sugar intake. Lose weight, because that's underage is the most severe health factor, right? That's number 1 below age. So I would be working on dietitians, clinicians, physicians, all my doctors in my life to get as healthy as I possibly can. They should be touting this because that is factual, and we know this by empirical data. Okay, so there's something that everybody could get behind that would increase the overall health factors of their population and not be creating stress. Okay? Getting people healthy wouldn't create stress. It will relieve stress. Okay? So that's 1. 2, to start talking about all of the great doctors on the ground making great inroads into the treatment of coronavirus and how they're starting to reduce the death rate, greatly. So that's another positive. We could be focusing on the positives right now and reducing stress rather than focusing on one little issue that is dividing us and creating stress. Okay? Remember, putting a non-FDA approved drug by law and by HIPAA law should be private, personal, and confidential. Informed with the facts by your personal physician, not a politician. Okay? So those are my personal opinions. This is not advice of any kind. I hope you're doing well, and you can see the difference between those focused on the good stuff, which is boots on the ground doctors who know what's really going on, are working with patients, making great inroads into the treatment of care of coronavirus people, and having great success now. Okay, and also the fact that reducing stress is very important because it's high on the risk factor list. And also try and get as healthy as you possibly can, and thereby even reduce stress as well as just get healthier. Okay? So all of these things we can probably agree on. And again, this isn't advice of any kind. Seek out the professional advice that's right for you. But if I were a competent politician, that's what I'd be talking about to my population, because I realize they don't agree on this one subject that creates stress. So let's focus on the positives that we have to work with and reduce stress. Get people to come together and realize no matter which way you go, we're all in it together, and we're all going to be each other's clinical evidence in the end. So make your choices, because the data will be revealed eventually. Okay? Hope you're all doing well. Try and focus on the positives. Folks, we have so many heroes out there all over the world doing great things, making great strides. And I think we need a little more of that in the news so that the fear begins to subside a little bit and we start dropping the anxiety levels, especially for those people suffering from these mental illnesses who are at higher risk because of their very mental illness. So, in fact, I wouldn't even support any politician right now touting fear, anxiety, or threatening or stressing anyone out. Gross negligence and incompetence, in my opinion, and probably should be removed from office for doing so once you understand the real risk factors of the very problem we're dealing with. Hope you're all doing well. Be blessed, and try and focus on some of the positives out there, and see your doctors, physicians, and clinicians to make the decisions that are right for you in your life. Jim out.